We are wrestling. We are wrestling podcast.
They give a shout out to We Are Wrestling on YouTube.
You're watching We Are Wrestling.
I'm the host with the most.
You are by far the least intelligent.
What's going on, everybody? Danny Huckins here, man. 1/3 of We Are Wrestling.
What's going on? We are Wrestling Maniacs Worldwide. Ben here, the third of the talk show.
We Are Wrestling Podcast.
Make sure to subscribe, baby.
And
We are wrestling.
what is up? We are Wrestling Maniacs out there worldwide. I'm the host with the most, Mr. We Are Wrestling himself, the best one, Donnie, here with...
What's going on? We are Wrestling Maniacs Worldwide. It has been the second of We Are Wrestling, and yeah, we got a pretty good show for you guys today. It's been a nice little chill, smooth week in the week of wrestling news and all that stuff. But before we get into all those fun topics, Don, take it away.
That's right. This week, there's nothing really crazy going on, but definitely some interesting discussions that we're going to be having on this week's episode of the show. But before we dive into all that, if you're not We Are Wrestling Maniac yet already, and you're listening to the podcast on Apple or Spotify, give us a 5-star review. Not just a 5-star review, but a best one review. And download us, because that does help with the algorithm. But if you're watching this, if you're not a We Are Wrestling Maniac yet already, and you're not a part of the thousands of subscribers, we recommend you to hit that subscribe button now, turn on the post notifications, videos be coming out of nowhere like an RKO, and of course, you already know, the grind is real. Yeah.
Buddy, yeah, let me talk to you real
We're
quick.
adding that yeah to the end of the introduction for now on.
Yeah.
Thanks to our buddy LA Knight.
Oh yeah, man. The future United States champ. I can already fucking taste it. I can already taste it. It tastes very immaculate. Chef's kiss. I'm really excited.
Yes.
Dude, I'm excited, man. Like, LA Knight is like the biggest thing right now. His 2-minute long little promo fucking popped off, and it's the fucking WWE's highest thing right now, or something like that recently.
Oh man, LA Knight, he is just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. The ab movement is moving very quickly, just like your channel, man.
Oh shit!
Overager,
We're back at this.
congratulations on 5,000 subs.
Yeah, I just broke fucking 5,300, and I just broke fucking like 4K last week or something like that. It's weird. Like, we were just talking about this off camera. Like, it's really weird. I'm nervous again. Like I'm starting a new YouTube channel, and it's just new. Like, it's basically what it feels like. It's like a whole kind of like a, not really a rebrand, but like a recalibration in a way, because now it's like, all right, I have an audience, their opinion matters now. Like, it does matter to me now. It's like, because now they're here to really refine what I do, and they're really here to like open my mind to different music that I would never think, and different movie suggestions. And I'm hosting my first live stream on Twitch literally a week from tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern. So
Hell yeah.
if you guys are into that, man, come along, chill. I'll probably shoot you and Dan a link if you guys want to like join the stream at any point. Feel free to stop in, say hi,
yeah.
come chill with the viewers and shit. So, yeah, man, I feel like it'd be a really, really good time. So I'm just kind of chatting around with the fans, talking some music, maybe doing some live reactions, Q&As, all that fun shit. So it'll be cool.
That's pretty cool, man. And I gotta
Yeah,
say,
that'd be cool.
like, if you guys are wondering, if you guys want to find Ben over on his personal YouTube channel and be a part of this fast, moving, growing moments here, recommend you guys to go, subscribe to XX the Lone Rager on YouTube, man.
XX the Lone Rager. It's just the
Oh,
Lone
that's your
Rager.
Instagram. That's your Instagram.
You'll
So
find
yeah,
all my
no,
socials.
the Lone Rager, man. Go check him out on YouTube, guys. He does,
Hell
you know,
yeah.
the music reactions and all that good stuff. Over on my personal channel, Best One Donnie, we just reached, you know, 300 subs last week, but now, you know, we got about 315 subs. So it's going a little bit slow, but we're getting there, baby. We're getting there.
Bro, I gotta have you over the condo soon so we can shoot some joint collab shit for my channel and Best One and We Are Wrestling so I can
I'd
upload
be
it to my
down,
channel.
man.
Yeah, we gotta
I'd
do
be
that
down.
because I have the place to me and Ash have the place to ourselves now, so it's gonna be a lot easier. And I have this whole ass room behind me to do content in, so if we have to like move shit, we can.
Hell
So
yeah, man.
yeah, so
I'm
I just
definitely
figured I'd
down
let
for
you know
collaborations
updates because.
always.
Yeah, because I was actually already in the midst of making blueprints on a couple videos I'm making. One, um, I'm doing a whole video on Sleep Token and how it's like impacted my daily life and like some of my favorite songs off of every album because I just got done doing the entire discography. Like I've listened to everything Sleep Token at this point. So now I'm kind of doing a video on that, but I also am going to be doing a video on promoting We Are Wrestling with the shirts and everything. And because it turns out a lot of my audience are also wrestling fans. So I figured, if we could throw some of the subs over here, that'd be great. So.
Absolutely, man.
And like I said, people are paying attention now, so I can actually it makes a difference when I do this now. So I can definitely see both worlds colliding here pretty soon.
Like
so
I
it'll be
said
fun.
in the group chat, man, your booking fee is going up now with them subscribers and that revenue, baby.
Dude, and it's funny because like I even stated multiple times that I'm not doing this for money whatsoever, like I don't care if I ever get paid doing it. I think, people that are donating, it's super cool. So it's like, hey, I think I just said it in my recent video. I'm like, if you guys want to donate to the channel longevity, I dropped the Cash App link, shit like that. But I was like, I'm not like, being like, yeah, this needs to happen. No, I don't give a fuck. Like the live stream, a lot of people say, oh, X amount of dollars for fucking us just to have me react to a song live. If I can just squeeze it in, I will. Like, I'm not gonna fucking charge anybody for that shit unless they just want to donate. I'm not gonna fucking be like, yeah, $5 a song, bitch. No,
Yeah,
I'm not
nah,
that.
man. It's all about the love. It's all about the passion, and I think that's the reason why you've gotten to
Yeah,
where you're at now because
it's
the
passionate.
fans, your fans know how passionate you are about what you're reacting to,
Yeah.
and pretty much like anytime, like even myself, a lot of the We Are Wrestling maniacs. They really enjoy, my wrestling reactions because they're genuine, they're 100% authentic, 100% real. And anytime, the viewer, they can see through bullshit. They can.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think that's the reason, man, you're growing is because, you're consistent. You're also, very passionate about what you do, what you love. And for us, man, we've been grinding on this platform for 10 plus years, not
Yeah.
getting YouTube revenue. We do it for the passion. We do it because we love it, man.
No revenue and no views, man. And like, look at that. Who would have thought? Maybe the
I was so
grind
happy
really
when
is
I would
real.
get friggin' 20 views on a
Yeah, dude.
DITV1 episode.
Bro, I remember jonesing out because I finally got, I was breaking 100 views and I would used to make posts about it. Be like, yo, this video broke 100 views. Thank you so much, X, Y,
Man,
and
me
Z. I'm like, dude,
too.
oh, fuck it. I'm so thankful for all 10 of you. You guys are the shit. Here we are thousands later, it's nuts.
The
Hundreds.
thousands.
Yeah, dude, it's great to say that now and actually not have it be metaphorical and actually have that be a fact now. Like it's a fact, like it's not just a bullshit thing. Like it's so crazy talking about just the growth of where we've been and where we're at and where we came from, and I just those things I could talk about for days. So it's kind of nice that we kind of break the fourth wall sometimes, so to speak,
Well, I think it's the best way to, start off the podcast because I know a
Gets
lot
the
of,
blood
We
flowing.
Are Wrestling Maniacs. They follow us over on, our other, side hustles and,
Endeavors.
they follow us on our social medias and all that good stuff. But before we dive into, my experience at Dynamite and the highlights of the week, this week is San Diego Comic-Con.
Oh,
And
shit.
man, it's been very stressful for me.
Violent. It's
Yeah.
been violent. Yeah, dude. Like you talking about like in terms of content?
Oh man, for this week, like with San Diego Comic-Con, they're just releasing a bunch of heat. Like
Like
Funko, because
Funkos
in
and all
case you
that
guys
shit.
don't know, when it comes to toys and collectibles, I do all this stuff over on my personal channel, Best One Donnie. I,
Give that shit a
collect
subscribe.
wrestling. I collect wrestling figures. I keep my AEW figures mint on card.
Nickelodeon and shit.
WWE ones, I go after, certain ones that I want for my collections.
Like
And of
Nickelodeon.
course, Nickelodeon and Funko Pops. And this week, man, has been very stressful because with San Diego Comic-Con, it is one of the most popular, Comic-Cons out there.
It is the
And
most
a
popular
lot of
Comic Con
these
out there.
toys, man, a lot of these toy companies, that's when they release exclusives. And yeah,
Oh yeah, dude. It's like their new year. All the new shit starts flowing out because Comic-Con, man, is where shit gets announced. So you get the exclusive, like, first dib shit there, man. So
I'm
yeah,
so
no,
jealous.
Comic-Con.
I'm so jealous.
And then, dude, the scalpers are fucking nuts too. So they like bump the shit out of those prices, and I'm like, dude, I'm so glad I don't have a collecting addiction because, dude, I'd be like a fucking crackhead. Like it'd be your room back there times like 12. Like I would be like a fucking crackhead, dude. I'd probably give my left nut for a fucking like
Yeah,
edge signed Funko Pop.
do not go down that rabbit hole. Trust me on that.
Have you
This
seen
was
my
hard.
YouTube channel?
This
I've
was
already gone.
hard, and this cost a lot of money.
Dog, I've gone down a few rabbit holes, and I'm not gonna lie. Where it has been so fun, it is goddamn stressful. It is
Yes, dude,
goddamn.
and that's the thing about, like,
Oh
especially
god.
now on my personal channel doing my toys and collectible videos, it's more
It gives you a
stressful
purpose.
because yeah, it gives me a purpose, but it's hard to get. Like, the most popular pop that they announced was the Very
Yeah.
Odd Parents, the 3-pack with Timmy, Cosmo, and
And then
Wanda. And
Wanda,
of course,
yeah.
I'm on there refreshing at like 8:45 Eastern Standard Time because, of course, it dropped at 9 a.m. And of course, the site crashed. And
Yep, because people are fucking trying
right
to buy that
at
shit out.
1 minute, sold out. So now I got to pay
Excuse
the
me.
aftermarket price.
Oh, you son of a bitch! You got butt fucked by the internet, son.
Yeah, man. And even speaking now, getting back into the wrestling, man. WWE Mattel, they've been dropping a lot of new figures, rendering images, man. And
Oh,
this is
straight
what
up
I've been
heat.
dealing with all day today.
My god. My god.
Some of them
You
that I do want to tell you some of them because some of these figures I was not expecting them to make, and I kind of
Okay.
want to get your reaction. Okay, so for a Build-A-Figure, they're doing a Build-A-John Cone, the referee from WWE.
Mm-hmm.
They're doing a Build-A-Figure for him, and they're also doing a Build-A-Figure for his son, Nicholas, the kid that won the tag titles with Braun Strowman.
Oh shit. Okay.
They're actually making a figure.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Yeah, and then they just announced, Monday Night Wars, so they got, like the whole NWO invasion. They're also making a fake Diesel too
Okay.
as well. Let's see, who else do they got here? Get your reaction, man. They just announced a Seth Rollins dressed up as Dusty Rhodes
Oh
during his
shit.
match with Cody Rhodes.
At Hell in a Cell.
Yep, with the polka dots there.
Oh
They're
shit.
gonna be doing a lights out Bray Wyatt figure as well with
Oh.
the glow in the dark paint.
Okay.
And let's see, let me find one more to share with you. And the exclusive that they're actually doing for this year's Comic-Con, which hopefully I get it by the time this comes out tomorrow, Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The San Diego Comic-Con exclusive is a 2-pack Muhammad Ali figure. So they got one figure dressed up as, his boxing, and the other one dressed up as the special guest referee for WrestleMania 1.
Oh shit.
A lot of
Nice.
people were very excited about that, and I think it's great that Mattel did this because it definitely, pretty much goes with more than just wrestling fans. Because Muhammad Ali, there's a lot of people that are fans of boxing, and this could definitely be, a figure that a lot of those, Muhammad Ali diehard fans that collect things Muhammad Ali will end up buying.
No, fuck yeah, dude. Like seriously, like What a time to be a collector, but at the same time, what a stressful
Seriously.
time. What
It's
a stress.
stressful,
It
but
sounds it, dude,
it's
because
stressful, but it's great, man.
people really do find so much value in Funkos, and like it's there. It's basically like the modern day Furby. Like you had to have all of it, But unfortunately, Furby crashed and their value got lost, and now fucking Funkos are just the way to go. And a lot of them are super fucking sweet. I'm
Well,
not
you
gonna
know what
lie.
makes Funko so good?
What up?
It's the fact that they, like, have so many different, Funko Pops. Like, you have, everybody can find something that they like. You can get
Okay.
music pops, you can get wrestling pops, you can get Nickelodeon pops, which are my favorite, ad icons, movies, shows,
Hmm.
anime, all that good stuff, man. It's awesome.
Do they have the gecko from Geico?
I think they did do an exclusive Geico from what I remember. I think it was, like, last year, I think. I
Oh, so
could be
they even did
wrong.
it
I'm
recently.
not
Oh shit.
100% sure.
I was just trying to think of the most random thing I could think of that was popular, but like kind of more nostalgic. So I was just like, huh, do they have a fucking Geico gecko? And you're just like, I think they did. I'm like, oh, of course they
And
did.
that's
It's
the thing, man,
everything.
like, that's exactly speaking of nostalgia, that's why I do what I do, man, with
Do you
collecting.
own a Billy Mays Funko Pop?
Wait, who?
A Billy Mays Funko Pop
Billy Mays?
from fucking you don't know who Billy Mays is?
It's not ringing a bell, maybe because of the lack of sleep from last night for Dynamite.
He did fucking original fucking OxyClean, get the tough stains out. He was the dude with the beard and
Oh,
shit.
yes, yes, yes,
They
yes.
did,
They didn't make a
and
pop of him, though.
they did. Wow, I'm surprised. Billy Mays is like the fucking like the icon of info gods, man. It's unfortunate that he passed away back in like 2009. It's already been a
I know,
grip since he
man, that's
passed away.
nuts.
Yeah,
Yeah. But now, diving into AEW Dynamite Blood and Guts this past week took
how'd it
place
go?
at TD Garden, man. And I
How'd it
was
go?
there in, the camera view with, my fiance
He was just
Meadow,
like,
and she loved AEW Dynamite. And now she wants to go to more wrestling shows live, the live television shows. She had a great time. I wasn't expecting that. And man, I had a blast. It was a great show. The only
good
thing that
shit,
sucks
bro.
about TD Garden, especially down where I was compared to where we were at Survivor Series War Games, which if you haven't checked out that vlog, recommend you guys to.
Was it lit as
The
fuck?
seats are very narrowed. Like, this is how
Yeah,
much
they're
room
like,
you really
yeah,
have.
bro. I understand. Me and Ash were just at that concert back at the fucking, I think it was the 9th. Yeah, July 9th. We were at Mohegan, and fucking yeah, dude. We were like,
Motionless in white, right?
yeah, we were like right across from the stage, but we were right behind the soundboard, which is like the seating area rather than like the floor and everything.
Yep.
And beautiful view, nice seats. We got to see everything front and center. The fucking Titantrons are right there, so we could see everything that was going on stage. However, the seats super fucking close. I was headbanging like this, like this, just squished the fuck up. And
That's how
then,
it was. Like, when I was sitting there, right? I was
yeah,
like this.
bro,
I'm sure you
and
can find me on TV doing that.
I will. I'll probably check it out, but fucking luckily the older couple that was sitting next to me ended up leaving, so I had more room, so I was fucking going in, boy.
Lucky you, man.
I
Just
was
like
going
Survivor
in.
Series, you got lucky because John, he couldn't make it, so then you had that extra seat right there.
Yeah, so I was just like, hey, the whole time, like I got to fucking chill. It's just unfortunate that I woke up with COVID the next day.
Yeah, I'm glad I didn't get COVID in that whole thing, but I ended up
Lucky
getting it a few weeks
bitch.
later.
I'd be like, ah, look at that bitch. So maybe I did infect you, because it takes a while for symptoms to surface. Could have been
Maybe.
me. Could have been me, son. I'm
We
sorry.
don't even know who it is. That's what's fucked up about all that shit, man.
Yeah, it's like a common cold.
But with, man, Blood and Guts, I gotta say, that was a great show all around. The crowd was very electric. I was nervous because normally AEW, they do their shows in smaller venues, except for the pay-per-views and stuff. So I was
Mhm.
very nervous that, the crowd, it wasn't going to be filled up. But man, I did not see one empty seat. And it was just fantastic. Great show all around. And the Blood and Guts match, definitely more brutal than the War Games. I enjoyed the Blood and Guts one a little bit more than I did for War Games. but the storyline of the War Games match was obviously better.
Okay.
And I think, especially the MJF and Adam Cole thing, the crowd loved it. They loved the chemistry that these guys have, and the crowd was very hyped throughout the entire show, especially with Jungle Boy and Hook as well.
So I do want to actually touch on a fucking something I'm really proud of AEW for doing. The dance fucking segment with fucking MJF, Adam Cole, and everybody. I thought that was phenomenal. I thought that was great. I'm glad that they're starting to do more sports entertainment shit now too. Like they're starting to really, get vignettes of Adam Cole and fucking MJF playing video games somewhere together. Shit,
Oh
love
my
them
God,
outside
so
of the
good.
fucking outside of WWE, outside of the fucking the arena and shit. Like vignettes of old school shit like that. They're starting to really do now, and even those little dance segments, they kind of take a break from the pro wrestling aspect for a second, and it's very few far in between. So it's like when you get segments like that, you're not sick of it and you're kind of invested in it because it kind of puts more personality into these superstars, which AEW is lacking personality in their stars. And that was a way to do it. So I'm like, all right, they're kind of letting them have fun, break the fourth wall a little bit, do something outside of the box, put more depth into just this pissed off fucking little buff Jewish dude that we were talking about the last fucking episode. Like, it's fucking awesome. It's super cool. Like, I just want to give them props for that. I want to.
And
Like,
you know
you're not
what I
gonna
love
please
about
everybody,
that
but I
tag
love it.
team
What up?
with Adam Cole and MJF? I really
That it's gonna
like
be a very
too,
brutal end.
they got the matching gear, like MJF, gives Adam Cole, he gives them the same trunks, and then Adam Cole gives him, the same jacket as him. And like they both come out like to pretty much a remix song mashed up. MJF's music with Adam Cole's music. And the crowd just loved every second
Dude,
of it. They hit
that's
the
why it's
double
gonna be
clothesline, massive pop.
dude,
It was
it's gonna
great.
be a brutal fucking end. It's gonna be a brutal end. Like I
I
can,
know.
and that's the thing.
They're
And I
setting it
know
up,
that,
man. They're setting up Adam Cole to win that title at
bro.
All Out.
I'm
They
telling you
really
this
are.
right now. Like I'm not even a viewer really, but even I know that's gonna be a brutal fucking end because I've seen a lot of the highlights and I've seen like a lot of the snippets and shit, and there is
Hell
so
yeah.
much chemistry between MJF and Adam Cole. It's sick. It's sick.
Hey, man,
It's
I'm
sick
glad that
how
you're
good
checking
it
out the
is.
highlights. That's good. That's
I'm
good.
keeping up a little bit.
Hell
I
yeah,
try
man.
to just because I just kind of I know that we do this, so I try to stay a little up to date, as much as I possibly can, even in like, the small scope of things. So
That
I
is one
just
thing that happened too at Dynamite, which was pretty cool, believe it or not. So I started a new trend, and I hope that we start to see this more on TV when, Jungle Boy comes out as a heel now. So you know how back then when he used to come out to the whoa,
yeah,
everybody would go like this?
yeah.
So I started doing this to him, which you could see in the camera if you watch the thing back. I went like this.
This fucking dude is fucking putting his thumbs down. He's like, no, fuck that.
Yeah, so the new trend, if you go to an AEW show and you see Jungle Man, because he's not a boy anymore after what he did,
Yep.
you have to raise your hands when he comes out, but put the booing down. Let's get the whole crowd to do that so that I can take that credit for starting that trend.
He's like, I'm gonna clip that shit.
Oh yeah, also too, I did end up getting this as well. I got a new Acclaimed foam finger.
Scissor me, daddy ass.
That's right. And now I got two of them. So when I go to AEW Collision in Hartford next Saturday, me and my buddy are both going to bring these, and hopefully the Acclaimed come out so that we can scissor each other on camera and we can become trending.
Or they can take your foam finger again. That'd be sweet.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool. But I don't think we're on the floor like that, but I know we are on the floor somewhere for that show.
Nice.
Super excited, man. And I got to say, Blood and Guts it was a great time. Definitely a great show. Very brutal. Loved all the spots that they did, and just a fantastic overall show.
Hey,
Definitely
man,
had a blast.
That's good. And TD Garden, Boston crowds are usually pretty fucking on point. So, I have no doubt that the energy in there was fucking phenomenal.
Yep. Also, Shark Boy. He was backstage as well. Some people actually met him before the show. I was kind of jealous.
Shark Boy?
Give me a shell, yeah.
A shell, yeah.
Yeah, there's this
Jesus.
wrestler that had like a shark mask in TNA, and he did this Stone Cold parody thing, Shark Boy, and he came out to like a remix of like Stone Cold's music. And then, like, instead of drinking beer, he would drink clam juice. And he would go, give me a shell, yeah.
That's fucking disgusting. That's fucking disgusting.
Dude, Shark Boy, man, he was great. But now let's dive into the highlight of the week. In the pro wrestling world, there hasn't really been anything too crazy going on. But what was your highlight of the week?
This might take you by left field. This might take you by left field entirely. It was actually an AEW moment. Yeah.
Damn.
I don't know if it was this week, but it was my highlight as of recently. But it was an AEW moment. And it was
I'm
actually
excited
on
to hear
and
this.
it was actually on Collision.
Collision 2, CM Punk show. Oh man, I need
it was
to hear
actually when Ricky Starks pinned him. It was actually when Ricky Starks pinned him. Yeah, I was actually I was really proud at that moment for Ricky Starks. I was really happy for him, like all things aside, I was really happy for him because I'm like, I've been praising him since that promo with MJF. So like even on a fluke, even on whatever, I'm glad that CM Punk put somebody else over, and it was Ricky Starks of all people. And
Definitely the right
dub.
decision, 100%.
That's what I'm saying.
And Ricky Starks now, like his face turn was getting a little stale. So now having him, turn heel by grabbing the rope and then, taking the trophy from Jushin Thunder Liger, which by the way, what a payday for him. All he had to do was just hold the trophy, let Ricky Starks take it from him, and then pretty much just sit there and go, what? Massive payday just to do that.
But yeah, that was my highlight. Yeah, it was an AEW moment.
For a second, I thought it was going to be something like nice about CM Punk, but then it's like, yep, Ricky Starks beat CM Punk. Oh God, I love it. Love it.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I know you. I guarantee you weren't expecting that shit.
I really wasn't. I'm impressed. You're doing, you're listening to what I told you, man, to check out the highlights.
Yeah.
It's especially being like very busy and stuff, like highlights. I recommend the We Are Wrestling Maniacs that are listening or watching. If you don't have the time to watch a pro wrestling show and you're interested in it, go watch the highlights. Definitely recommend it 100%.
And then if you see a certain promo that you really like and you got extra time in between, at some point, look at the backstory.
They upload it on
look at the backstory too.
Their company's YouTube channels as well.
Mm-hmm. You'll see shit bit by bit, all the important parts, and they're like maybe 2 minutes long max. So if you want to look at backstories of a very juicy promo, there's your options.
Man, so my highlight of the week, I got two of them. Because obviously I went to Blood and Guts, so it's only fair that I have one for that show and I have another just in general. So the first one, I'll talk about the one just in general. I loved the segment that we got on Monday Night Raw with Finn Balor and Seth Rollins. That sit down in the locker room.
Yeah, I heard that was heat.
I loved it. Finn Balor is just on another level right now, and honestly, I'm kind of leaning more towards him beating Seth Rollins for that World Heavyweight title.
For a good 2 minutes until Damian cashes in and takes it from him, and that's where the turmoil comes full circle at SummerSlam.
That's what I'm saying,
because they've been building it for a while, but Danny doesn't, of course, want to fucking believe it.
He doesn't want to believe anything, bro. Like, he thinks that friggin' MJF and Adam Cole, they're going to be a tag team all the way until AEW Full Gear. That's not happening. MJF is the World Heavyweight Champion. He's not going to not defend that title until November.
Dog, I'm telling you this right now.
Danny's been taking a lot of L's lately on this podcast.
He's been taking a lot of L's in general, not even just the podcast. Like, this fucking dude really will not buy the fact that literally they have been teasing the turmoil for a long-ass time now. They're not going to fucking tease it for another few months. They're dragging it dry at that point. Have Damian win the big one at SummerSlam, one of the big five, and it can bring that storyline full circle, because who better to have the first feud with? Not only, an ex-brother now, but the first ever Universal Champion. What a fucking
Exactly.
match. What a fucking match. What a way to start your fucking first heavyweight title reign. Like, you're fucking... Even if you're, like, not down for it in general because you just don't like Damian Priest, whatever, that's fine. But to just not buy it because, like, the stars are aligning now, you're fucking nuts. You're nuts. And
That's what I'm
Danny is
saying, and
on
like
some
it's
crack lately.
brilliant. It's brilliant the way Triple H is writing these shows because
It is.
SmackDown, he builds it around the bloodline. Raw, he's building it around Judgment Day. And
Precisely.
it's fantastic. And as a viewer, and I hate when there's so many fans that say the only thing WWE has going on right now is the bloodline. That's
That's
completely
fucking
false.
garbage. No, that's garbage. You have
Completely
fucking
false.
LA Knight, literally the hottest star in the fucking business right now. You have fucking...
Dirty Dom.
You have Dirty... I was literally about to say Dominic Mysterio, who is like monstrous heat in the industry right now, and I fucking
Yep, and
love
we're gonna
every
be
minute
diving
of it.
into him pretty soon on the show.
Yeah, like, you got fucking... You have mad stars on all three shows, honestly. Like, even I'm kind of invested in fucking Baron Corbin right now. Like, I'm even invested in that.
Them
Like,
vignettes for Baron Corbin.
bro,
If you're not watching
yes,
NXT,
you're
go
dumb.
to the WWE YouTube channel and go watch these vignettes. This
Bro.
is some of the best work Baron Corbin's done.
That's what I'm fucking saying. So I'm like, bro, there is dubs everywhere, and it really pisses me off when Danny's just like, oh yeah, fucking Raw was mid, Raw X, Y, and Z. I'm like, bro, I watched it, and it
real
wasn't
quick,
even half bad.
Another thing too, let's not forget about the women as well in WWE because we're not only getting title match feuds, we're actually building up the women tag team division, which we're going to
building
dive
up
into
rivalries
that as well.
again.
Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler. Baszler's doing great promo work right now.
Bro,
Also, we got
fucking-
Shotzi Blackheart, who had a great promo
and
a few
Bailey.
Fridays ago.
Yeah, Shotzi
Dude,
and Bailey. Like,
the momentum,
fucking...
and then we got Charlotte, Bianca, and Asuka, which I think they're doing a
and then
pretty good
Io
job.
Sky
over
is
there.
hovering, and they're fucking
Rhea
teasing.
and Raquel. Dude, right now, WWE is
It's on
striving.
fire. It's on fire.
good
They got
stuff, and I don't
storylines everywhere.
I think it's time.
Bro,
A lot of us,
no.
wrestling fans need to
I'm cutting you off.
reevaluate
I'm
things.
cutting you off.
Hold
I'm
on,
cutting you
hold
off.
on. No,
No, I'm cutting you off.
No,
You said
they need
good
to
stuff. It's good shit. It's good shit. It's
No,
not
but
good
here's what the fans need to do. They need to start reevaluating and really thinking about it. Like, there's more to WWE right now than just the bloodline. And I think that,
Absolutely.
a year ago, it was definitely very different in WWE and it was not looking good. And Triple H has done a wonderful job
Come
at
SummerSlam.
building new stars. And I think that, even this upcoming SummerSlam is stacked.
Bro.
And at the end of the day, here's the thing too. Triple H gets criticized for his booking, but has he had one bad Premier Live event?
No, but you also have to think too. I mean, come SummerSlam, this is his first full year as taking ahead of creative control, and I have to say, we've come years ahead of where we were.
Even with Vince being in his ear, it's still good stuff that we're getting.
Yeah, it's like, some episodes are like lighter than others, but it's not bad. It's not
And
like,
that's
dude,
what I
this
want
is
to get into.
insufferable.
Speaking
Like, it's
of
not.
speaking of the episodes that are lighter, that's the point of the television shows, is to have some of those light episodes because you need to build for these Premier Live events, which is why they're so good. It's definitely an old school way of booking things, and not every show is going to be a banger, 5 stars.
No.
You need to have some of those slow shows, and it sucks sometimes, but
Filler.
they're building towards the Premier Live event. They're building towards something. And that's how it used to be back in the day, like on, old episodes of Monday Night Raw back in like the 90s. They would have, their big stars squash jobbers so that they looked good, and it would further, the storyline with, A and B.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely spot on, man.
And I think that a lot of us, wrestling fans definitely need to reevaluate how we're thinking about WWE because, yes, the bloodline is the most popular thing, but there's more to WWE than just that. But now getting into my second highlight of the week, of course, blood and guts. I gotta say, man, I really enjoyed this one spot in the blood and guts match. We had Matt Jackson and Wheeler Yuta up on top of the roof of the cage, And Matt Jackson ended up, having a bucket of thumbtacks. And this was a brilliant spot. He dumped the thumbtacks from the top of, the roof on the cage.
Oh,
And then
no.
they ended up getting suplexed into the thumbtacks.
Yeah, that sucks.
But I've never
That
seen that
sucks.
before where somebody, has taken, thumbtacks like on top of like a roof of like a Hell in the Cell or something
Yeah.
and
Just
then
dumped
just
'em.
dump them down. I thought that was a brilliant spot.
Yeah, it makes it more aesthetically pleasing, but also spreads out the playing ground. So yeah, dude, that I would not want to be anywhere near that fucking ring. I wouldn't want to be anywhere near that shit. I mean, like, yeah, maybe like front row to watch it, but to be near it, no. No, just because I'm not trying to get hurt. You're stepping on that shit too. So can you imagine trying to do a spot and you step on the fucking pin and then it just fucks the entire thing up? That you could break someone's fucking neck that way, bro.
Man,
Especially
it
if they're
was
doing a high
crazy.
spot and you step on something and then you just flinch because of reflex and you don't catch them, you could hurt them and yourself.
I definitely recommend like checking out the entire match. It was great. We
I'm thinking
had
about it.
broken glass. We also had like a bed of nails.
Yeah, I'm gonna check
It
that
was
out like
nuts.
right after this.
Brutal, man. Absolutely brutal. But up
Yeah, I'll
next
check it
on
out.
the We Are Wrestling podcast, we're going to be diving into some of the things that happened this past week on WWE and AEW TV. We'll be right back with more We Are Wrestling podcast 66.
Hey, what's up, players? WWE Hall of Famer Teddy Long, and you are listening to the We Are Wrestling podcast. And if you don't listen to it, then it's one-on-one with The Undertaker.
Are you looking for wrestling content? Well, We Are Wrestling provides everything pro wrestling. The best one, Donnie, Danny Huckins, and the Load Rager Ben are wrestling marks like you who love this sport. We Are Wrestling has it all when it comes to wrestling content. We have different podcasts, vlogs, reactions, full wrestling matches, live pay-per-view watch-alongs, interviews, predictions, and so much more. Only on We Are Wrestling. What are you waiting for? Subscribe and become a We Are Wrestling Maniac now. We're back, and let's get into the topics for We Are Wrestling Podcast 66. This past Monday on Raw, we saw new women tag team champions. Chelsea Green and Sonya Deville won the women tag team championships against Raquel and Liv Morgan, and definitely surprised a lot of us. How do you feel about this booking decision?
I think it was time. Because one, it's already been very back and forth. A lot of these tag teams haven't made sense. I mean, Chelsea Green and Sonya Deville already doesn't make sense. But at the same time, I'm kind of for it because one, Chelsea Green hasn't really had much time to shine since she's been back, other than being like kind of a Karen and X, Y, and Z.
Hey,
But
it's worked.
it's worked. I'm not complaining about that. But she hasn't really had her time to shine. Like she just came back
Yeah.
at the Royal Rumble, and it was just kind of like, oh my God, she's back, and it's been a little stale. So I'm like, I'm excited to see her hold the title and actually be more prominent in seeing what else they have planned for her. Sonya Deville, I wish she went back to her more badass NXT persona where she was just beating the shit out of everybody because she's a martial artist, I want to see that shit again. I want to see her go more down to a more serious route again. I feel like when the whole thing where, the real life situation happened and then her getting turned into official really like slowed her potential down, and it really kind of wasted who she once was and turned her kind of silly.
I hated it.
I want her to go back to being the old school Sonya Deville, where she was like, with Mandy Rose, and she was like basically like the muscle of the group, and I want that again. I think that there's a lot of room to play with here with Chelsea Green. I feel like there's that more lighthearted side. So I feel like that would be a really good combo. So I'm interested to see where we're getting finally different talent on screen, and we're getting different storylines, and these are also. Sonya was also a Triple H fucking prodigy. So it's like, I'm excited to see that with Triple H ahead of creative.
I'm
So,
going to tell you a cool did you know fact about these two.
what's up?
Did you know they both were on the same season of Tough Enough?
Yes.
Such a cool moment, man.
Yeah. I did know that. Yeah. Fun fact, I
saw
actually
that
did know that.
picture.
Yeah, that was sick as fuck. Yeah, that was super sick.
So here's my thoughts on this. I absolutely love it, and I've blasted Sonya Deville's, the way that they've used her with creative
Yeah,
for a pretty long time now on the podcast. I
Vince
know I
McMahon is a hell of a
probably have
drug.
expressed, my frustrations about her because I know how talented she is.
Mhm.
And I knew that they weren't
Same.
using her to the best of her ability. And I always criticized her on here. And I got to say, I am enjoying this run with her and Chelsea. I think they both have great chemistry. Yes, at first it was supposed to be Chelsea Green and Carmella. They were supposed to be a team, but then Carmella, she got injured and then she ended up, getting pregnant. So she's right now obviously on the
Um,
sideline.
yeah,
But
she ain't
it's
gonna be
mostly
that good.
because of the injury that caused, her not to be Chelsea's partner. And
Yeah,
I got to say, Sonya Deville, it does make sense because both, Chelsea and Sonya, they hate Adam Pearce. They have something in common. And they built that. And they have good
they
chemistry there.
hate
They both have attitudes. And I think Sonya brings out the best in Chelsea. Chelsea brings out the best in Sonya. And we need more dominant women tag teams. And I
we
think,
do.
Monday Night Raw, they're doing a fantastic job with this. I think even on SmackDown, they're even doing some tag team matches for the women. I think that this is a great move overall. I think Chelsea Green, very talented. And now Matt Cardona, he's also one half of the women tag team champions because he said on Twitter, took a picture with the title and somebody said, "Aren't you like splitting the title in half with Chelsea?" And he says, "No, we're married. So everything is 50-50. So technically I'm one half of the women tag team champions."
No, he's dead
Oh
ass
my
though.
God. The
Dude, Matt
deathmatch
Cardona
king.
out here spitting facts constantly, bro. I will say though, 100%, I think it's also kind of cool that he was backstage and everything, and he
That
was,
was cool.
being able to chill. So that kind of opened some doors, hint, hint,
He
being able
did
to talk to
address that
Triple
on the
H
interview with Sam Roberts, and
if he talked about shit.
he said that, if he gets a call from, the Connecticut number there, he said he'll pick it up and hear what they got to say, but it comes down to three things: cash, and creative control,
Yeah,
basically.
no, 100%. And I feel like Matt Cardona has more than proved himself on the independent circuit. So I feel like, he'll be fine. He'll be
Yeah,
fine.
he's doing fine, man. And
Yeah,
now,
no,
she's getting
100%.
that WWE check as well, so he can get
Hmm.
plenty of toys.
Oh, he's eating. They're eating, bro. They're eating good. So I have
Yep.
no doubt in my mind that Chelsea Green's gonna go pretty far here. I think that Sonya being back on TV more regularly, and especially as a champion in that capacity, is great.
More
Like I
serious
said,
too, which
I
I
just
like.
I just miss the hard hitting Sonya Deville. Like where she actually fucking bah bah bah. I'm like, dude, that shit was nuts as fuck. Like, cause we know Sonya Deville can go.
The
Like, if there
only
is
thing
somebody,
There's only one thing though about Chelsea Green and Sonya Deville that I do want to happen.
what up?
We need a tag team name.
Oh Jesus. I don't know what the
I
fuck.
do want them to have a tag team name. Because
Not
some
sure
of
what you would
these
call them.
women in, the WWE tag team division, they don't really have a name. And I feel like some of these teams they should. Because I think it would add more to it.
No, I got you. I agree.
That's
I
just
just
me nitpicking though. So like
yeah, that's just you
they're doing
getting
a good
picky
job.
now. Hey, for that
But
to be
I'm a
your
picky
nitpick,
boy,
like
man.
hey man,
Picky.
for that to be your nitpick about something WWE's doing, that's a pretty small price to pay. So, hey, fuck it. I'll take it.
Exactly. Speaking of a price to pay, this past Tuesday on NXT, we saw Dirty Dominic Mysterio win his first singles championship, the NXT North American Championship, against Wes Lee. What's your thoughts on this? But before you give your thoughts, there is, some backlash going on here with Dom because, in case you didn't know, when Solo Sikoa ended up winning the North American Championship, he was called up to the main roster. So when he, got up to the main roster, they ended up vacating that championship
Yeah.
because he wasn't on NXT. So then a guy from the main roster is now on NXT and he just won the championship against a guy who has been holding the championship for 200 plus days.
Huh. Wow. That's probably why it was so big of an upset. Okay. Um
So how do you feel about Dirty
So
Dom winning a championship?
One, I think it's fucking sweet that he has gold now. Is he a free agent or is he strictly on Raw?
Strictly on Raw. So that's why a
So
lot of
this
people
is
are
yeah,
upset about this.
that's why okay, now that's a little fucked up. Okay. So one other than that, one thing that really does not make sense, they really don't care about the brand split at this point. They really never have.
I feel like they only care about the brand split with Raw and SmackDown, but not NXT. They can care less
see,
because they
I
want to
get
get
that.
more viewers on Tuesdays.
And I get that 100%, and I totally understand. But at the same time, I feel like he's not going to hold it for a while. One, I think he's only going to hold it temporarily. Two, where I'm so glad to finally see gold on him again, in a singles capacity. I hate that he can't do it by himself clean at all. Like, I get he's a heel, but I feel like there's no build there for him. There's no payoff other than just heat. So it's just like that kind of bugs me a little bit.
Hey, he's taking a page out of Uncle Eddie's book, man.
For sure. Or his dad at this point. I'm not entirely certain as to how this is going to go going forward, especially with him being on Raw. But that's kind of where I'm going at this next angle. I think that Wesley's gonna win it back on the main roster on a match to see where his toes dip in and see what the reception for him's like.
Okay.
And have him win it to see what the crowd reaction's like, because I have a feeling they're gonna call him up to the main roster very soon. So if that's the case, that's an angle that they're gonna play.
Or, they could have, an NXT takeover and they could be having Dom, be the champion as well because they do want to, draw more, seats. They want to, draw some ratings. So there's definitely a possibility there because when NXT first started with the whole developmental thing in Full Sail University,
Yeah.
they did bring a lot of, main roster guys and girls. We saw John Cena make an appearance. We saw, RVD even make an appearance.
Yeah, that's fucking
So I
nuts.
think they're going back into that route because it does help with the ratings. And
Trying
I
to get more
actually
people,
do like
yeah.
this decision, having Dominic, win the North American Championship. The only thing I don't like is with Solo Sikoa, they should have never stripped him of the
Vacated
title
it, yeah.
because it would have made, the bloodline look even better having all the gold. Solo having that championship, the Usos being the tag champs, Roman being the WWE Universal Undisputed Champion.
Yeah.
It definitely would have added more to that. I never understood why they did that because I think, it definitely could have brought more ratings to NXT. Having Solo Sikoa in the bloodline with him having that championship because it is the hottest thing going on. But I do like this with Dom winning it because it does draw massive heat. And imagine him on Raw with that championship. He's going to be generating more heat.
Yeah.
And man, right now, if there's anybody that deserves to have a singles title in WWE, it is Dominic Mysterio. He has done a 360 since, first arriving in
180.
WWE. 180, yes.
It was like 180 because a complete flip of a coin. 100%.
And I love this new Dominic. Love it. I think the Judgment Day, they definitely have big plans for them. I think that's why they wanted Dom to win the title so that they can, have him, also on NXT to bring in ratings because I believe this past Tuesday they actually drew really good audience because of
Yeah.
the Judgment Day, which is good.
That's great. That's how you know it's working.
But it does suck that Wesley, did lose the championship after having a long run. I
And to
wish it
Dominic
could have been.
Mysterio of all people.
I know. I wish it could have been somebody from NXT, but hey,
Again, the
it is
heat.
what it is, man. Because right now he is currently feuding with Mustafa Ali, which is why a lot of people were very off guard when Dominic won the title because they've been building this Ali and Wesley feud for quite a bit now. So like seeing, Dom win the title, it was definitely a swerve, but we don't get that in WWE often, which is why I can't be mad at the booking decision. They caught all of us off guard. If we were placing bets, we would have lost our money on NXT.
Yeah, 100%.
Our next topic on this week's episode of the podcast, AEW Dynamite. after the Blood and Guts match, there's this video that's surfacing. Surprisingly, not the BCC and the Elite shaking hands, which, by the way, as we're recording this, we got over 50,000 views on that because it did go off
Fuck
the air.
yeah.
So that's awesome for We Are Wrestling.
Hell yeah, man.
But there is a video surfacing of this New Japan Pro Wrestling star, Ibushi, taking a random bump into thumbtacks. A lot of people are not happy with this at all. Did you see the video?
I did not.
Well, I tagged you in the We Are Wrestling chat.
Oh shit, that's right.
It's
I
only
haven't
10
seen it.
seconds, man.
I got you. I
want you to see this, and I want you to, let us know how you feel about that, especially coming from more of a WWE fan.
Okay, there's the Japanese dude. What the fuck? What the fuck? Why? Why? Like, that made no sense. What
And
the fuck?
here's one of the perfect examples of, somebody that is, giving them backlash for this. Good old Jim Cornette. Here's what he had to say about this.
God, what? What does Jim Cornette think? Oh my God. Another fucking Vince Russo. All right, let's go.
He said this about that random no-sell spot after the match for no reason. He said, and I quote, "This is pretend play wrestler. All the AEW fans were salvaging over. Another clown whose biggest fan is himself. Another garbage wrestler who falls into sharp shit.
Oh my
What a
God.
talent." And then there's a lot of other legends that are coming on saying, like, you're not selling the thumbtacks anymore. Like, you just took away all the credibility of, like, what the thumbtacks do. How do you feel about this?
Okay, so where I can get behind not being cool with, like, dude, you're just gonna drop into it, not even fucking react, and it's just a random bump into thumbtacks, I can understand where that's insulting. I can understand where, you got legends like Mick Foley who have basically literally have given their body parts to this entire fucking sport that is known and notorious for making these things look prestigious as fuck and making it, stepping stones into stardom. You're making it look like just a random play toy, like, oh, I'm tough shit just because I can land into a whole fucking back of them and not feel a damn thing and then just walk away, with no payoff for it. Like, dude, I get that.
Especially after, like, a brutal match,
But
too.
But at the same time, to just talk hella shit about the wrestler himself, saying he's a trash ass wrestler, I'm like, dude, just because he did a really shitty thing does not mean that he's a trash ass wrestler. It does not mean that he has had a lackluster career. I mean, I don't know this fucking dude. Like, I don't know him from a hole in the wall. He might have had some legendary ass shit, but that's where I'm like, all right, now you're just getting toxic. You could have just been like, all right, I didn't agree with it because, again, prestigious. It really does make legends like Mick Foley, et cetera, look super just weak as fuck because of what you just did. But to just trash after that, though, that's where it gets just toxic, and now you're just being a fucking asshole for the public because you're having one of your public rants because people are going to talk about it. Like, that's all it is, and that's what I think about it.
Yeah, no, it's
but
definitely for a lot of it's for views. Like, I never really understand why, because there's a lot of wrestling legends that, have their, like, opinions towards certain superstars. Like, we know Jim Cornette has been very, expressive about Kenny Omega, and that just goes to show that he lets personal vendettas, he lets personal problems, get in the way of what he really thinks of the talent, because Kenny Omega is a very talented professional wrestler in that ring.
One of the best to do it.
In the world at what
one
he
of the best to
does.
do it. Yeah.
And
But
they have issues that go all the way back to OVW back in, like, 2008 when Kenny Omega was signed with them.
yeah, and like I said, I don't tangle myself in
Or
shit
Deep
like this.
South, one
Like
of the
I
two.
won't listen to Jim Cornette's shit. I won't listen to Vince Russo shit. Hell, I'll barely listen to Dave Meltzer shit. Like I don't tune into that shit because it's just gonna let my blood boil even more, and then I'm gonna turn into one of those toxic wrestling fans. So, in order to avoid that, there is only one person's opinion that really means shit to me whenever I actually listen to somebody talk about wrestling and on its behalf, and that's Mick Foley. That is the only person I ever listen to, just because he goes at it completely unbiased. He's laced the boots up and has made himself a household name, obviously. Again, given his body parts to this fucking sport that he loves dearly.
More than his body.
Unbiased opinion, unfiltered, unbiased, shoots it how it is, and is very realistic about the whole situation, no matter what it is. He is the only person that I genuinely am like, all right, I'll listen to you. Another person, fucking ref and rants, like this fucking guy, the referee from fucking SmackDown, and Jim something.
Nick Patrick,
No,
Mike Chioda,
no, he was on SmackDown.
Charles
He
Robinson.
No, that's little Ric Flair, little Nature Boy. No, I'm talking about yeah, I'm talking about the one that has like
Little
kind of
Nature
like the
Boy.
monk cut, and he had like a little goatee and shit.
I don't know, man.
Jimmy
Many
Corderas.
legs.
Jimmy Corderas.
Oh, Jimmy Corderas.
Yeah, I like listening to him as well because he has like ref and rants and stuff where he talks about certain spots and he just goes off on like what he feels like can improve on the product if they capitalized, if it's like good. I'll listen to him and I'll listen to Mick Foley. Other than that, I don't touch like the toxic shit because a lot of the time it's ego driven and it's just usually it's just a fucking mindless toddler rant. So I'm just like I'm good with that. Like I listen to the people that lace their boots or have worked in the ring with these talent. Like I don't listen to anybody on the outside.
I gotta say, that is a very valid point.
Yeah, I
And
listen to
you
anybody that's
definitely
worked
take
hands
the
on.
complete opposite approach than Danny Huckins.
Yeah,
Myself, I'm
man.
the host with the most, so I do have to pay attention to all this stuff, and I have
Yeah.
to give you guys the details before we dive into it, because on the We Are Wrestling podcast, to all the listeners, to all the watchers, and I know our loyal We Are Wrestling Maniacs know this, we like to go into full detail when it comes to these topics. We don't want to
Yeah.
leave anything out. And
No stone unturned.
we want to give you guys our honest thoughts and opinions on this that we do cover. But now getting into my thoughts on this whole, no sell thing with Ibushi, you can't come at the talent because at the end of the
No.
day, Ibushi is a very talented professional wrestler who has main evented in the Tokyo Dome. He's been a big star in New Japan Pro Wrestling. And, even has had a great, tag team with Kenny Omega back in the day as well in New Japan as, the Golden, I forgot what their names were, but the thing is about, Ibushi, he's a great professional wrestler, just like Kenny Omega, great professional wrestler. The Young Bucks, which I know you're not a fan of, they're great professional wrestlers.
The young fucks, yeah.
But here's the problem.
Oh shit.
Ibushi is a great professional wrestler, just made a stupid fucking choice.
Yeah, dude.
And that shouldn't take away from the talent that he
No.
actually has in the ring.
Like I said, and that's why
It's a stupid fucking choice.
Yeah, I that's why I get what he's saying, but at the same time, dude, to come out as talent just because of a moment you were really pissed off at, like many others, that's why I don't listen to the toxic shit, because I'd rather listen to somebody who's laced up the boots or has worked with talent over the years and has put down the miles too, rather than someone who's just a fucking another fanboy watching from the outside. Like I'd rather listen to them because they've lived it.
Well, that's the thing though too. Like I do, respect wrestling legends' opinions like Jim Cornette because they have done the
Jim Cornette can
miles.
suck my dick.
They haven't really done like maybe the bumps and, the crazy spots like that. But they do have, a different perspective on things going on in the professional wrestling world. So I do listen to them. But when it's pettiness, that's when I'm going to call them out on the bullshit. And like I've, multiple times I've said it. I love Jim Cornette's, podcast. I think he does have, a pretty good perspective on pro wrestling, especially old school, because of course, on the We Are Wrestling, YouTube channel, we had a series called Old School versus New School. So I really do respect, the foundation in professional wrestling. And I think that this does bury the whole thumbtack spot. I'm glad that this didn't happen on live television. That's a good thing. But with social media, with our smartphones and, big
Social
mouths.
media has ruined it, bro.
Exactly. And that's the issue here. I think that this was very unnecessary, especially after a brutal blood and guts match. Like, you have to realize you shouldn't even be walking normal after this match. You're supposed to sell the thumbtacks. You're supposed to sell the glass. You're supposed to sell the bed of nails, the table, the cage.
But yet all y'all
And that's
hearing are
missing.
hugging around singing Kumbaya in the middle of the fucking ring after the show.
Yes, that was a good time, though. That was a good
Hey,
time.
man.
But I did not like that thumbtack spot whatsoever. But you can't take away from him as a professional wrestler. He's fantastic. And I'm going to try to get one of our, We Are Wrestling extras, one of our good old buddies, Ricky, to send me a video that I can put into this podcast to hear from his side of things, because in case you guys don't know, our buddy Ricky,
Excuse me.
he is a New Japan Pro Wrestling fan, so he's more familiar with Ibushi than we are. So I'm going to try to get him to give us a quick cameo on this break. But if not, up next, we have a couple more topics that we're going to be diving into, and the main event topic, which is about Eric Young. We'll be right back with more We Are Wrestling Podcast 66.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy, the 2010 and 2011 Mr. Puss in Boots, Lucha Lit, Lindsay Dorado, and you're watching the We Are Wrestling Podcast. Stay Lucha Lit, my friends.
All right, Donnie. I'm gonna get you with this one. Like Ibushi beat Jeff Cobb at Dominion, but a bout with operation pneumonia put Ibushi on himself. Never since that time of period, he's been quiet until his return at Blood and Guts AEW. Then after that, the thumbtacks is just probably his impression that he's glad to be back.
We're back, and every week here on the We Are Wrestling Podcast, we do a thing called Comment of the Week. And all you have to do to get your comment featured on an episode of the We Are Wrestling Podcast is by commenting on any random We Are Wrestling YouTube video. And this week we got not one, not two, but 3 Comment of the Weeks.
Oh,
and
shit.
Our first We Are Wrestling Maniac that commented was at George the Great. And he said this on one of our community posts, and even our reaction to the whole Jay turning on the Bloodline and Roman Reigns. He said this, and I quote, "We need another Bloodline segment reaction with you and your friends, sir. That was very entertaining."
When we were on the couch?
Yep, when you came over and we marked the fuck out when Jay super kicked Roman.
Yeah, man, that was a good time. I remember freaking the fuck out. Like I remember it in real time. Like the time moved slowly for a second there. Like I couldn't fucking believe it. I couldn't believe it. I was like, we knew obviously that it was building for all this time. Like
Just
we
not
knew.
happening there.
But to finally see the first initial break of the bloodline after thinking about it for almost 3 years, it was a pretty surreal moment. It was a pretty surreal moment. So I could definitely understand enjoying that reaction, because it was as real as it gets.
And definitely, down the line, I would love to do some, collaborations with my wrestling reactions. Definitely something to consider. The reason why Ben and we can't do them all the time is because we both have completely different schedules outside of the We Are Wrestling, podcast and the We Are Wrestling YouTube channel. Ben, he works, a job, 3rd shift overnight, and I work 1st shift. So Ben and I are on completely opposite schedules, which is why every week on the podcast, we usually alternate. One week it's me and Danny, another week it's me and Ben, which honestly, I'm not going to lie to you, George. I prefer being on here with Ben over Danny. Just don't tell Danny that. Don't clip this. But yeah, George the Great, I would love to do more, reactions with Ben. We're both pretty successful podcasters and reactors. Just saying, we got the numbers to prove it. Moving on now to the next comment of the week at Ted Ted Gurr-Rule. And
Ted
he
Gurr-Rule.
said this: "We Are Wrestling Podcast, you guys are the best. No, Ted, you're the best. The We Are Wrestling Maniacs, you guys are
buddy.
the best. All the listeners, all the watchers, we appreciate and love all the support that you guys give us. You guys are the reason why we continue to, push that gas and not hit the brakes."
Yeah, man. Like I said, it's been a pretty while. What we're going on, almost 2 years for all three of us.
Yeah, man.
2 years almost, and it's been a very interesting journey along the way. It's been very
Absolutely,
interesting.
man. But honestly, we do appreciate and we love each and every one of you guys that, come into the streams, watch the videos, listen to the podcast.
Talk the shit.
And even when we go to wrestling shows, talking to some of you guys, it's the best. And seriously, we do appreciate and love the support, especially on the podcast, because we be rambling about wrestling for a pretty long time. And I feel like it would get a little repetitive listening to Danny talk. But we have one more comment of the week, and it is from the infamous Mrs. Sleep. And they said this. And this was on our BCC and Elite shaking hands when Dynamite went off the air. And they said this: Hey, let me talk to you. I didn't know LA Knight was all Elite.
I saw that shit, yeah. I saw that.
It was so hard to pick one comment out of that video because there's a lot of comments pouring right now in there, and yeah.
I'm sorry. This needs to fucking be said because, let me talk to you. So, I just want to say, if you are not putting LA Knight over in WWE, and not only are they chanting his name hellaciously through your own stadiums, but when they are chanting his name at your competition stadium loud as fuck, that should tell you something. Money. They're chanting his fucking name at AEW. Dude is in WWE and doesn't even have a fucking strap, and that's how over he is. Do better.
It's only a matter of time, too, until
I'm sorry. I need the eye contact.
It's only a matter of time, too, before this movement takes over sport games. We've seen the Yes movement take over. We've seen the Suck It, take over. And it's only a matter of time before this movement does, take off internationally, globally,
Literally.
worldwide. And I got to say this, man.
My God.
Being there last night in Boston, because, of course, I can give that perspective. It was going on the entire time I arrived in Boston, waiting to get into TD Garden. Everybody was doing the whole, let me talk to you. Yeah, whose game is it? The crowd goes, LA Knight.
Yeah.
And you're definitely on point with your take there. It's rare to get a moment like this. And when there's somebody that's a needle mover, you need to just put a rocket ship on that man, take your lighter, light that rocket ship up, and just see how far he goes. And
My
I think
God,
WWE,
I'm telling you this right
really
now.
need to push him.
They have a year to do it. They have a year to fucking do it.
That's how it usually goes, because especially with our generation today, we have short, attention spans, and we're very impatient. And
I'm gonna
LA
say it.
Knight.
Jesus, the good dude's going in downstairs. He has Tourette's or something. He's every night he yells at his fucking TV at CNN going, fuck you, fuck you. He's currently doing it right now. Sorry, it just threw me off a little bit. So I'm gonna 100% say right now, Gunther, dethrone Roman, LA Knight, take the world heavyweight. 100%. That's fucking money. That's fucking money. What more do you want? What more do you fucking want, dude? That you have a perfect face and a heel right there. Right fucking there.
Man,
we just got to get someone.
There's ways
we just
to
got to
do
get
it.
one of them over to fucking SmackDown. And I feel like you could put Gunther on SmackDown through the Royal Rumble win. I feel like you could do that and then have fucking LA Knight stay on Raw. Wait, no,
man.
it's got to
mad.
fucking
Oh,
it's got to
no.
flip, right?
Why did I think about this? Why?
Because we are a wrestling podcast and we need to fucking talk
No.
about it.
This is bad. Okay, I'm just gonna say it. Fuck it.
We are a podcast.
All right,
Say
Ben.
it.
Let me talk to you. Let me talk to the We Are Wrestling Maniacs here.
Yeah.
I want to open up this conversation because on the podcast here, we like to give our perspectives from a fan side of things. And I want to open this conversation up. And honestly, I like opening up
Are you gonna do it?
conversations better with you than Danny.
Are we about to do it?
I think I'm going to say it, and I think I know.
Do it. Do it.
Right.
Do it.
What if LA Knight wins the Rumble and he's the one to beat Roman Reigns?
No. You didn't say it. You fucking asshole. You should have just let me say it. Fantasy booking.
Fantasy
fucking
booking.
asshole. I was
on the
waiting
comment
for
of the
it.
weeks. But man, I think LA Knight, they should consider having him be the one.
He's built for it.
Reigns.
He's basically the modern day Rock and Stone Cold fused with a charisma of his own. Like, do it. Put this man on the rocket ship. I would buy it, dude. I would probably cry the most happiest tears I've ever cried in my entire life, minus right next to my child's birth. Like, that is like happy tears, bro. Like, this is edge level returning happy tears.
Yeah, I feel like realistically it's going to be the World Heavyweight title because I think Cody Rhodes, they're going to try to find some way to have him beat Roman at 40. But I think we need to consider LA Knight. This could be a perfect opportunity to build that next big star. He already has the crowd behind him, not only at WWE, but AEW. The entire
what was
show,
that like?
everybody was doing the yeah.
Was it mind-boggling to hear that at AEW in a live crowd?
Yes, because AEW fans are more diehard wrestling fans, so I'm not surprised by that. But a lot of them don't like WWE. And hearing an entire crowd, chanting LA Knight and then doing the whole yeah thing, let me talk to you. And then one side says, whose game is it? Then the other side says LA Knight. So yes, it was very mind-boggling to see that, but it's also a great thing for pro wrestling, period. It doesn't take anything away from AEW, doesn't take anything away from WWE. If anything, this is good because this means that the whole movement is going to take off internationally and globally. We're going to start seeing fans do it at basketball games, football games. And great thing for pro wrestling, period.
Yeah.
Just like the yes movement. Because of that, it took off everywhere. Even at the global Olympics and stuff, people be doing it. So that's a great thing in general for pro wrestling because of course there's people that are curious and they're going to say, what is this whole yes thing? Or what is this whole
they're gonna Google it and go on YouTube. Yeah. They're gonna find it.
And then they're gonna, get into it. They're gonna be invested. But congratulations to all 3 comment of the weeks. We love doing this every week. And the only way to get your comment featured, if you're a listener, if you're a watcher, is by going on to the We Are Wrestling YouTube channel and commenting on any random video that we drop. It could be the podcast. It could be the vlog. It could be a reaction. It doesn't matter. If you comment on a video, your comment could be featured on a future episode of the podcast. But with that being said, let's get into our last few topics before we get into the main event.
Let's do it.
So this past week, WWE announced that the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes will be having a brand new documentary exclusively on Peacock, which will be premiering on July 31st. How do you feel about this whole Cody Rhodes documentary? They're supposed to be diving in, from when he got released to WWE to, main eventing WrestleMania and the whole injuries and everything in his career.
I'm stoked. I absolutely love stories like this. I love seeing, where someone has been, where they were from, and where they are now. I love seeing that shit, especially when you have a decorative career such as Cody Rhodes, because it's not just, wrestling. It's, his family life. It's the legacy of Dusty. It's, his acting roles. It's his fucking time in AEW. It was his fucking pec tear. It was his return and what that was like. Vince personally flew out to go fucking convince him to come back. So I have a feeling that might be in there too. And I love seeing behind the scenes stuff of some of our favorite talent. So, it's always a good time watching those documentaries because you really do get like a full in-depth bird's eye view from the outside looking into somebody's life becoming who they are that on the screen. So I really, really like this a lot. So I'm definitely going to tune in, especially since I have Peacock.
As a die-hard pro wrestling fan, as a die-hard WWE fan, AEW fan, even Impact fan, I know there's only a select few of us, but I'm still one of them.
13.
I gotta say, Cody Rhodes, man, I love this. I love documentaries. I've always enjoyed them. Every, company that's done it, even, Dark Side of the Ring, I enjoy watching that show. And with, WWE doing this documentary on Cody Rhodes, it's definitely going to be interesting because, yes, we've heard Cody Rhodes several times on different, wrestling interviews and podcasts, but we're going to get a real in-depth look at, his entire career and even him leaving WWE. And I'm sure we're even going to get him, talking about AEW a little bit.
God,
in
yeah.
there.
It's
because I did see this, Ben. You're going to be excited about this. And I think you're going to be I think you're going to definitely respect these two individuals a little bit more. So the Young Bucks, they're giving WWE permission to use clips from Being the Elite in this documentary.
Fuck yeah. So before you continue on with what you're saying about Cody, I think 100% in reference to what you were saying about us potentially, fucking him talking about AEW, I think it's definitely gonna happen and it's a given because AEW is such a huge part into who the American Nightmare is and what made him and what made them make the decision to allow him to keep that persona coming into WWE because now it shows like, all right, where did the American Nightmare come from? Because when Cody was here, as far as we remember for viewers that don't watch AEW, it's like, all right, where'd this come from? They're going to tune into that. So automatically it already breaks the forbidden door. So them just allowing him to do that basically confirms AEW will be breaking down the forbidden door in this documentary. So I think 100% this is very good on all sides. So continue what you're saying.
So yeah, with, this documentary, I've always enjoyed seeing like an inside look at, a superstar or a pro wrestler. And I think that this documentary is going to be one of the best WWE ones in a long time. There hasn't really been a documentary that has gotten me very excited to watch in a very
Second
long
Mountain.
time with WWE
That was for me.
until now.
Edge. Yeah, Edge's was mine 3 years ago.
Man, that was a good one. But years
Second
ago,
Mountain,
man,
yeah.
I also really loved the CM Punk one back in the day.
I do too. I liked Keith Lee's as well.
Yeah, oh yeah, that the short documentary on WWE.
And
right?
Undertaker's. Yep, and Undertaker's was good too.
And like I've also really enjoyed the network shows as well back in the day, like the Monday Night Wars. I loved how they did that. And like even like the whole, countdown show was pretty cool too back in the day.
Bro, I used to watch all of the collectives like fucking Tombstone. I fucking bought Undertaker's. I bought fucking DX's. I bought fucking, dude, I bought a shit ton of those DVDs. And I kept all of those collections. And that's why I love the Peacock network for all of WWE's catalog because all of it's there, so I can just fucking watch all of it, and I do.
Just
I
binge
still
watch
do.
it, man. It's great.
Constantly.
But
Anyways,
I think
continue.
that this is going to be fantastic. I'm super excited to see who's in this because you never know, especially with Cody Rhodes, having a lot of close connections.
Saying
I don't
this right
see
now,
AEW stars being in the documentary, like talking, but we're going to see some Being the Elite clips.
I have a feeling that Chris Jericho will be one of them. I have a feeling because he's one of the pathways between WWE and AEW and also closely Cody's career. So I feel like if anybody could show up, it's Chris Jericho.
I think we could see Matt Cardona.
That's a possibility too.
Cody Rhodes' best friends.
That's another possibility too. Maybe fucking Daniel Bryan. Like there's a couple people that Bryan Danielson now.
It just all depends if Tony Khan, gave them the green light.
And I don't think he would
depends on how
have
far WWE wants to advertise AEW in this documentary. Because it might be a short, chapter in this documentary. Because they don't want to, overstep their
overexert AEW. Like, all right. Like here, you can have Chris Jericho and you can have the Being the Elite shit, but that's it. But that's it.
But I'm very excited for this. The
I am too, man.
possibilities are endless, and I think that this is going to be a must-watch documentary.
Oh yeah, dude, we're in Hype City.
Absolutely. But moving on now to our last topic before diving into the main event.
Okey-dokey.
According to PW Insider, WWE is interested in bringing in free agent Nick Aldis as
Nick
a
Aldis?
potential producer. What are your thoughts on this? And before you give your thoughts, Nick Aldis left NWA. He ended up signing a short-term deal with Impact Wrestling, which is why his last, match was at the Slammiversary, tapings. He wrestled Alex Shelley in the main event for the Impact World Championship. And now, he's a free agent, and WWE is interested in bringing him in as potentially a producer.
Okay. So like I said in previous podcasts and shit, like I'm a
Yeah, I think we
fan
did an
of
extra on
anybody.
him a while
Yeah,
back, like 6
we
months
did.
ago.
Yep. And like I was just saying, I think that bringing any kind of talent that's already, has done the miles, etc., has been in different territories, bringing them in as a producer with another creative mind is always a great way to go. It's always, especially when they're fresh from other companies, there's so many different elements that they can bring to the table to really help heighten the product. Especially somebody like that's been in there in an in-ring capacity, especially recently. It could also help with talent as well. So I feel like it'll just enhance anything, if anything.
So here's, my thoughts on Nick Aldis, potentially coming to WWE
Nick
in
Aldis.
a producing role. I know there's some, diehard wrestling fans that are upset with this. I know Danny's definitely one of them. And,
Oh, excuse me.
myself, I'm going to speak from both perspectives here. And I want to, talk about the producing role first before I, dive into what people are upset about. So,
Yeah.
with, the producing role, this would be a fantastic move for WWE to bring in a guy like Nick Aldis who, understands the business. He never worked for WWE before and he, got over on his own. In TNA, he started off with, Doug Williams as, the British Invasion. And then, he went on to becoming Nick Aldis and really putting NWA, Billy Corgan's NWA, on the map as, the national treasure and pretty much making that 10 pounds of gold very prestigious, taking it all over the world, even wrestling at All In, facing, Cody Rhodes for the title. And, Cody ended up winning the belt. But Nick Aldis has, done a fantastic job in his career outside of WWE. And he knows one thing that's very important in pro wrestling, and that's presentation. And I think that from that perspective, that could be a great thing, for WWE in a producing role because Nick Aldis, the way that he carried himself as a great professional, always, suited up, always, looked great with that NWA championship, the 10 pounds of gold, and made that championship matter. So if there is anybody that could, strive in this role, it's Nick Aldis. But now here's where the problems lie. Does Nick Aldis want to end his in-ring career right now? Even he is in his 40s, so he still has some
Yeah.
good years left. And that's the question. Does he want to, be in a producing role behind the scenes and not being on screen? Because my
Well,
thoughts still stand with Nick Aldis. I do want to see him on NXT. I think with, his veteran presence, I think that definitely could help a lot of the young guys over there. I think he could definitely be a great NXT champion, bring in some viewers, and, really show what he can do. And I think he can really put a lot of these young guys over.
see, now that just comes down to whether or not he wants to do that and whether or not he decides to take the job. If he takes the job, more than likely it's okay with not doing it anymore. So it really all comes down to what he wants to put his body through for what it really comes down to what he wants to achieve, if he wants to be prestigious and have a run, like, and, try to knock down some things off his bucket list while he still can, and he's willing to put his body through that, in your 40s, that's still pretty up there for a professional wrestler. You're already past your prime at that point. So it's like, do you want to put your body through that? And especially at a high caliber as WWE, where there's a lot more touring than, somewhere like NWA, somewhere like Impact Wrestling, even somewhere like fucking AEW. Like, you're going to be at a lot more higher capacity. Your body's going to go through a lot more. So
Well, here's one thing I
it
do
really
gotta say
comes
about
down.
that, because I did sorry for interrupting, but
Yeah, you're good.
on Impulsive this past week, Logan Paul had Seth Rollins on there,
I got
and
to watch that too
I
next.
definitely wanna bring something up that Seth
What up?
Rollins did state in, this interview here. Back in the day, the miles were a lot harder. Seth
Yeah.
Rollins
Oh,
even said
God,
when
yeah.
he, was with the Shield and when he was, on that, architect run as, WWE champion, as Triple H's guy, he was working, 5 days a week with these live
Yeah.
events and stuff. But today he said basically he works, the premier live events, usually Saturday, Sunday, Monday. And that's pretty much it. And then also, media appearances and stuff like that. And the schedule is less grueling now than it was, which I'm
Yeah. So
starting
it's
to
a lot more doable.
notice on a lot of these wrestlers, schedules that they post on their Instagram pages. Now you can
Yeah.
continue.
But yeah, no, realistically, it's just kind of like, what he's looking to achieve, and if he's looking to do some more in-ring shit, then that's what he's willing to do. If he is looking for the job and they're just like, hey, you're strictly going to do, just producing shit. And if he takes it, then clearly he's cool with stepping back, and that's just, again, it really all comes down to what he's trying to achieve, what he's looking to achieve with what time he has left to do it. So, yeah, it really all comes down to whether or not he takes the job, and then we'll really get more insight details on it.
Yeah, and I think, for me, because of course I've been following his career since TNA Wrestling when he
Mhm.
first, joined there. I do want to see like what WWE would do with him. I'm very interested and intrigued to see like what will they do with the National Treasure. Will he be bigger in WWE than he was outside of it, or will he just be like a solid mid card guy? That's like the questions that I have. I think
Well,
NXT would be a great spot for him. I think he fits in that role perfect.
I feel like maybe he could even be like somebody's mouthpiece slash manager for a while too, and then it could get physical somewhere, and then he can come back for a little bit, and then see how the crowd, receives it, and then if it's good, then maybe he can do a little run. Who
I
knows?
didn't even consider that, man, as a
Yeah,
manager. That would be a solid role for him. He already suits
yeah,
up, looks good. He's
and he could
great on the
still do the
mic.
producing.
We're
So
just gonna have to wait and see. Here's what I think now, and I'm gonna leave it as this.
okay,
If Nick Aldis signs with WWE, then clearly he's content. He's very happy with what he's accomplished in the ring. And, he's, doing what's best for him. If he goes to AEW, that means WWE didn't want him to, be an in-ring competitor.
yep.
So AEW, I feel like, is his B option. I feel like WWE is his A option,
Oh,
because
absolutely,
I
especially
think
for
that,
money.
him being a pro wrestler for so long, everybody has that dream of, being in WWE at some point, and he hasn't done that yet. So I feel like that's right now the big thing that Nick Aldis wants. Even when he left NWA, he wanted to go to WWE, but at the time they weren't hiring because of the whole Endeavor thing. So I think
Yeah,
if, Nick Aldis shows up in AEW, it's not the money, it's nothing like that. It's because WWE wants him to be a producer and not a wrestler. So it all depends on where he stands. We really don't know the details. I'm sure we're going to get more on that at a later point. But I
okay,
am very interested to see what happens here, because he has done the miles. He, was the only good thing in Billy Corgan's NWA. So I'm
yeah,
very interested to see what he does, because he's a fantastic person.
yeah.
But now, with that being said, let's get into the main event topic for the We Are Wrestling Podcast 66. Last Saturday at Impact Wrestling's Slammiversary, we saw the return of EY, Eric Young. And a lot of people, were surprised by this, because back in November of 2022, Eric Young left Impact Wrestling to go back to WWE because, of course, he was, under Triple H's, run
Regime.
in Black and Gold NXT. So he came back to WWE and he ended up leaving WWE recently because of the whole Endeavored and Vince McMahon thing. And he's expressed, multiple times that he doesn't want to work for that certain individual. So there was reports coming out from multiple sources that Eric Young was supposed to be a part of a new Wyatt family stable with, Bo Dallas and Bray Wyatt. This was supposed to happen after WrestleMania this year, but
So
of
he was
course,
supposed to be a part of fucking the
Wyatt
Uncle
6.
Howdy story. Yeah. Okay. Damn. Fuck. So
And
he was one of the characters.
and this was supposed to take place after WrestleMania. But of course, Bray Wyatt, had an
His
illness.
illness.
So, because of, Vince McMahon coming back in, Eric Young asked for his release and it was granted. How do you feel about all of this news coming out? Which is so weird that Eric Young is our main event topic for this
Yeah.
week.
It's weird, It's just
But there's
kind of
nothing
one
really
of those.
crazy going on this week.
There's honestly, it's kind of shitty, just because I get, sometimes timing is pretty shitty. Things just don't work out, things happen. But it's just really unfortunate, because it's like there's so many what ifs. There's so many, what could have beens, So it would have been interesting to see him have a better and more stable career on WWE, had Vince not had any kind of return to the company whatsoever. And also if Bray didn't get ill. It would have been nice to, see something a little bit more fresh and, for both parties. But again, shit happens and this is the prime example. But he's back in Impact and we can see what he can do.
Yeah, man. That's the thing with Eric Young. He even said, on this interview recently that the contract was great. Like, there was big plans for him in WWE, but he, didn't like the way he was booked with Vince McMahon. And he doesn't want to put his fate in Vince McMahon's hands again because he screwed up. And when Eric Young did an interview, I believe with Chris Van Vliet, he even said that he told Vince McMahon straight up that you don't know what you're doing because he wasted his time by having him chase, the 24/7 title. Eric Young is a fantastic professional wrestler and he cares about the way he's being booked. He cares about, the presentation of his character.
Well, you should.
And, seeing Vince McMahon come back and all of that stuff, because even us, wrestling podcasters out there, us, we are wrestling maniacs. We were even confused when all these reports were coming out that Vince McMahon is backstage taking over, this and that. Like, we don't even know what to believe at this point. So Eric Young, he asked for his release and it was granted. I think what makes this a main event topic and what makes this very interesting is a new Wyatt family stable. He was supposed to be in a role with, Uncle Howdy and Bray Wyatt. That's interesting.
It's unfortunate, man. Like I said, this is just one of the many sentiments
He
of
would have been
shit
a
happens.
perfect fit for that faction too.
It's shitty how life works out
My
sometimes.
goodness, man, that's crazy.
That would have been money.
I will say, as a diehard, TNA Impact Wrestling fan, I don't watch the product like I once did, but I followed it for years and watched it, in the early days. Eric Young, he was, one of those, foundation members in Impact Wrestling. He, started off as a comedy act in TNA. He was a part of a group, Team Canada, and then he, did the comedy stuff and then went into the whole world-class maniac stuff, which after that ended up getting him a contract with WWE. So I've been following his entire career, and I will say, seeing him back in TNA, especially, coming out to Team Canada's music with Scott D'Amore, fighting, Bully Ray, I thought that was really cool. It was really cool to see. But it does suck that it didn't work out for him in WWE because I know how talented EY is. I've seen it firsthand. He can work any role you give him. And Triple H, I felt like, would have used him great, would have used him properly. But I understand the insecurities, of Eric Young with the whole, Vince McMahon stuff, because last time he screwed up. He didn't use Eric Young right. Sanity was only on SmackDown for like 2 or 3 weeks. And then after that, Eric Young, all he did was, get squashed and chase a 24/7 title. So I understand that. And I got to give, Eric Young a lot of credit here, because it does take a lot of guts to, pretty much take a significant pay cut to go to, Impact Wrestling. And a lot of wrestlers, do pick the money over anything, but he's picking his morals over that. And I
Good.
do got to give, the performer his respect. But man, the whole Wyatt family, that would have been so good. That's
Now it just begs the
crazy.
question as to who could replace him. But I feel like that's a topic
That does
for
open
another
the door
time.
for another talent. Very
Yeah.
true. But man, anything else that, you want to talk about or got to say?
Nope. I think we covered everything.
I think we did. And to all the We Are Wrestling Maniacs that are listening to the podcast, please give us a 5-star review and download the episode. It really helps with the algorithm. And if you're watching this, let us know in the comment section below your thoughts on all the topics that we covered on this week's episode of the podcast. If you guys enjoyed this, make sure to smash that like button now. If you're not a We Are Wrestling Maniac yet already, subscribe, turn on the post notifications. The link's down in the description below. You can go follow Ben and I on our social medias and other YouTube pages. All that down below. In addition, you want shorter clips of the We Are Wrestling podcast, we're posting them over on TikTok. We have additional content over on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. All the links down below. And next week on the We Are Wrestling YouTube channel, we're going to have 2 vlogs come out. We have my first time going to GCW and AEW Dynamite, so definitely stay tuned for that. But of course, to all the We Are Wrestling Maniacs out there worldwide, we are taking over. Peace.